Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. Are you unemployed, or do you know someone who is unemployed and they need some assistance in terms of setting themselves up to go into those interviews a bit more prepared, maybe up their resume a little bit? Well, this morning I have with me the founder of Catherine Gordon's Institute of Finishing Elements, Miss Catherine Gordon herself. Good morning.
Good morning, and well, thank you for having me here this morning.
Not a problem. Well, thank you for this caravan that you've prepared, because I think it's absolutely necessary. I know that for a long time I struggled with writing resumes, even though, you know, I would have learned how to do it, but understanding the techniques and strategies, it takes a while and it takes some experience. So, I mean, can we start at the basics? Like, why is a resume so important?
It is basically your first interview. It's the first time the employer sees you. And based on what you have there, the employer then says, I need to see this person. This person represents a potential solution to my problem. We have to understand that a vacancy is a problem in an organization. So they're looking for potential solutions. So that is really a first interview.
Right.
So if you mess that up, you're not going on to the second stage of face-to-face.
Now, when you say if you mess that up, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, if this is the first stage of my interview, I want to present as much information as possible. I want to be able to give them a clear picture of who I am. But I know that there's a particular way that people say that you have to write this information. Or is it that I can present it in a picture format? Or I can, you know, can I get creative? How creative can I get with my resume?
You can think of the resume as your advertising copy.
Okay.
And therefore you are trying to target one consumer. You're not trying to fish in the entire ocean. You are the product, and you want to sell this product to one consumer that wants to buy at the right price for what it is getting. And so putting in every single thing you know about yourself is counterproductive. You want to just target and zero in. So your resume is really a summary of what you want to tell about yourself based on what their needs are, not what you want to get off of your chest.
So you have to then, what you're saying is you have to do research into the position that you're applying for.
You have to do research into the position. You have to do research into yourself, because you must understand the product that you're putting on the market. You have to understand your likes, your dislikes. What are your passions, primary skills, secondary skills? What are you putting out there? And then you distill it down to just laser-like focus into what do they need. And so I'm going to tell them what they need. And so when they see what they need, they recognize it in what I've put there.
In black and white.
In black and white. And they call me.
All right, so let me say you get our part right. You get the laser focus down, you spend your time and you get the focus. And wait, before we move on, are you suggesting though that we adjust your resume per job that you're applying for?
That is the secret of a successful resume. You can't just simply take one document and send it out. If you have a diving certificate, Republic Bank is not interested in your diving certificate or first aid certificate unless it's that position you're going for.
Okay.
Unless it's that position. They may have an offshore project which requires an underwater diver. Basket weaving is not irrelevant to, unless you know you're going down to the
But it can show patience.
You have one page. They are scanning in 10 seconds. They're not reading a whole document.
When do I present a resume versus a CV?
Oh, a CV. That's a big fancy word. But
well, that's just 2 letters, but it stands for a fancy word.
A CV could be as long as 25 pages.
Right.
It's the story of your life.
Right.
Every single thing about you is in a CV. Publications, speaking engagements. And these are not things that you did at school and whatnot. These are things, usually you have degrees. Usually we into PhD, past masters,
when
and
you
so
have
forth.
a CV?
Yes, when you have grants and so forth. That's the kind of information that gives weight to a CV.
Okay.
You can have a CV and distill it into a resume.
Right.
But a resume is 1 page.
Okay.
They're not looking for 2 and 3 pages. So we have to be really, really tight on what we put in there.
All right, so I did a tight 1-page resume and I got the call. What do I need to be prepared for in this interview now? Is it the same thing? Am I going to sell myself again? Am I going to solve problems immediately? Am I going to say, well, let me see what you have to offer me?
No.
Now you see what I have to offer you, what you have to offer me. Which approach is it that we're taking into
We
this?
had a nice advertisement.
Right.
So we read the advertisement.
Right.
Now it's time to start taste. And so before we get to the interview, we must have a mindset which talks about solutions. So you have to get ready to sell the product in terms of it being a solution to the organization.
Is
If you
there
have problems in your background, you have to learn how to inoculate that panel when you meet that panel and let them override any times you've been fired, the fact that you have poor grades. You have to learn how to speak about that in terms of solution. You got fired from the last job, you have to learn not to bad talk the last job. Because as soon as you start to back talk, they are hearing problems.
Yeah.
They are not hearing solutions.
Okay.
And another solution is waiting to come inside the gate. So why should we hire you?
So
So your
here's my
mindset
challenge.
has to be,
Here's my challenge,
Yes.
right? Is that there are people who are so good at talking. They're so good at talking, but they're not so good at doing. Right? So they come and they sell themselves and they get this job and they don't last long. But then there are people who are really good at doing, but they're not so good at talking. Are those the people that you focus on helping?
let me just back up a bit. A well-structured interview will mine for the skills that it needs, not the talk. It will mine. So you'd
But if
have,
you could talk about your skills, if you never do it, but you read about it.
you would have scenario type interviews. You would then put in some behavioral type interviews in there, questions in there. You may probably have things like group interviews where you are actually, and then you may actually say, do this. This is a scenario, solve it for us. So a well put together interview does not rely just on you talking to me and I'm talking to you, because we know that some people have the gift of gab and the tongue of a ready writer, and they come prepared to just talk the pants off of you. But if you put together, and that is on the side of the company, you must know what you're looking for and how to get what you're looking for. And so we're trying to help everybody.
And this is just a little taste of what you can, some of the information you can get inside the Caravan.
Yes.
Now, before, tell me about this Caravan and why you decided to put it together. It's for all unemployed young persons between the ages of 16 and 29 years old.
I'll tell you why I said unemployed, why we said unemployed. Because they're being conducted during the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we didn't want to have the issue of, well, I have classes, I have school. Whatever you have, make it work for you, because the world of work is not taking into consideration your little issues. It's real life when we get out here. So we said unemployed because we know there's a large batch of them.
Of course.
And so 16 to 29. What caused me to put this thing together? It was in my notebook for about 4 years. It just came to me.
You saw a need for it?
Yes, because I spent about 23 years in human resource management at a very senior level, and it is across the board problematic. The documents come in, this thing about going online and getting yourself a template, for instance, without understanding the purpose of the document. So if you do not understand the purpose, and this is what we're going to get in the Caravan, what is the purpose? Once you understand purpose, just as purpose in life, you know what to leave and what to take out.
Exactly.
Instead of just tumbling everything out, and then the person said, I don't want to read 4 pages of that. I don't even want to read 2 pages.
Exactly.
And then we have spelling errors. We have things all over the place. And they do not get passed. I ran into a young man recently, 6 wonderful subjects, excellent grades. He had to beg for a job in a gas station. I said, what are you sending out? He said, well, you know, I sent out my resume, and I started to speak with him. And he said, what do you do? I said, I teach this.
And you will be teaching it starting from today, actually.
Well, today we were supposed to be at McCoy at Trin City. The counselor had to travel. And so he has rescheduled his. He has pushed his later down.
So we're going to kick off on Thursday then?
With Samuel Laventil.
Samuel Laventil.
And I want to point out that Samuel Laventil is actually hosting 4 workshops.
Nice,
nice. 2 are going to be in the San Juan Market in the upstairs venue, but one is in Barataria. And one is in St. Barb's, Chinapoo.
Nice.
So, and your Lisa has offered, Lisa Wickham, has offered to do the social media part in the St. Barb's, Chinapoo thing.
Good to go. You're good to go there.
Come on out, people. Come on out.
How can people get the access to this information to know where you will be on which day?
Okay.
Because they need to pre-register, right?
Yes.
Right.
Now, I have partnered with some of the municipal corporations and some individual councillors. So each councillor in each area that is participating in Cycle 1, they have their own promotional flyer. and they are doing the promotion on the
Right,
ground.
on the
I'm
ground.
simply showing up to teach and talk about it here.
But people can go and register in at the regional corporations.
Go to your counselor's
counselor,
office.
okay.
Well, we have the areas of San Juan Laventil, Coquille, Taruba, Arima,
Right.
Barataria, St. Barb's, Chinapoo, Palo Seco. We have
Capdeville.
Capdeville,
Yeah.
all the way down there. We're in Sandy Grande, Northeast, and in Camuto.
Yeah, so we have it up on the screen here so people can get an idea if you can read it on the screen, but we also just read it out for you so you know where the caravan is going to be over the next few weeks because it's going till September 13th, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, we still had to work out the other date that Gary scheduled, so it might go another day. But I think this is a fantastic initiative, and I think it's definitely much needed, and it can only do good. So congratulations in advance.
Thank you to the
and
Lord.
thank you so much for having it.
Oh, and even our hearing impaired people
Right.
have been provided for. We will have sign language interpreters available. So if you are hearing impaired and you understand sign language, call, register, walk into your counselor's office, register. We have you covered. If you're looking in the community and you're looking on,
I'm now gonna say I think it's important for people who are looking. If you know somebody who needs this information and you know they live around you as your family, your friends, whatever the case is, feel free to pass it on to them, especially those who are hearing impaired. They may not be able to hear this interview, but you can definitely give them the information. Tell them to go down to the counselor's office and sign up, register to be a part of it, because I think it's a hands-on approach that we need going forward. Yeah? Catherine, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for
again,
having
thank
me.
you for this initiative.
thank you.
Do enjoy the rest of your day. Ladies and
so
gentlemen, we take a quick break and we come back with your calls next on our Now Morning Show. I'm going to say Talk City by accident. Bacchanal in the place. We take a break and come back. Stay tuned.